You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
This is Zoom the TBT. I'm Charge Hayner. We got a short little bonus episode with the coaching staff of Bleed Green. We have head coach Andre Shaw and assistant coaches Chris Blakely and Kevin Lacey. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight? What we're doing is we have low internet. That's what we're doing tonight, I think, actually. Let's try this again. How are we doing tonight? We got this thing back?
Doing well, doing well.
I guess the internet in Lubbock is about as good as the weather, right? Pretty spotty. Okay, so let's get right into this real quick. We got this. So first of all, you guys had the very opener of TBT. This is your second appearance. You guys were the upset darlings last year, making the Super 16, making a deep run your very first appearance, and the winning never stopped. You were able to beat a very game, rise and grind team, a bunch of D2, D3, NIA types. So first of all, Andre Shaw, how did you guys prepare for a bunch of players who were at somewhat lower levels than D1 in a game like that?
You there, Shaw?
This is going to be awesome. We're having internet problems. Hi. You still there, Andre?
Oh, wait.
He's just, I think his mic went out too. Okay, we're going to have Chris Blakely here. Chris. Oh, you got it?
You there? Oh, you're muted. I think you might be muted, but
he's muted. I don't know.
I'll take the first one.
No, he's not muted. Go ahead, hit it, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we prepared honestly just like any other game. They had some really good players that have played, top league in Spain, like some players that can really play. But it's hard. The first games are the hardest to win because you really just don't know what's going to happen, and you don't really know how we're going to play. And so it was a lot about us, but kind of just a personnel game. We had to just prepare as much as we could with film and go out and play and you see what happens. These first games are tough.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. So you guys were up to a fairly, let's bring up the stats real quick. We'll bring these up real fast. So you guys were able to win 94-78. One thing that struck me, and maybe Kevin, you can talk about this quickly while we wait for Andre Shaw to get his voice back or his mic back or his Marriott Envoy internet back. But you were able to get a combined 52 from Jefferson and Siemens. So how were you able to spring them for good looks?
Keeping those guys in high ball screens. They're great players. They're high-level professionals. Just making sure they're getting high-quality shots in open space was a big part of them having great success. But ultimately, it's just elite shot makers doing what they do with elite shot making.
Definitely. I mean, you got to have shot makers tournament. This is obviously a shot makers tournament. I mean, defense wins championships, but you got to make shots, especially with the Elam ending being where you have to finish the game. You don't have a choice. You can't just not score at the end. So, Andre, hopefully you're back. We're going to try this again. But, we just actually completely lost Andre. He's gone. Okay, well, Andre will come back as this thing allows. This is the thing about the hotel. Sometimes you have internet, sometimes you don't. So we'll go back to Chris real quick. You guys shot 62% on 27 three-pointers attempted. Is that honestly repeatable?
Man, I don't know, but I just know with those dudes that we've got, like, we're not surprised when they make shots like that because we've seen them do it in the gym over and over and over again. If you watched last year's TBT, they did it. And so they just, like Lacey was saying, like, they're professional scorers. That is an unreal stat, 62%, you said?
Yeah, it's wild. 17 to 27. You're not going to get looks like that very often.
No, we shot it really well, and it was good quality shots, but they were hitting some tough ones too. No, if we can repeat that, I think we'll be in a good place tomorrow night.
Okay, I heard Andre left. I think we have Andre back, so I'm going to come with you real quick. You hear me, Andre?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. So, Coach, real quick, obviously I'm looking at stat line. One thing that strikes me, though, is you guys were up in this game the entire way. You won the first quarter by 22. But if you look right there, you guys did give up 35 in the last stanza, the last quarter. Obviously, the game was already out of hand. It still wasn't even close to the end, so you did give up some points at the end. How can you basically not let that sort of lapse carry over against a more difficult second-round opponent?
I think we have to put these guys in better position, when things get stalled out, just a set that will get a specific guy the basketball and just kind of play off of that. But, as we all know, it can be a little hard to stay engaged when the lead is that big. Coach Coach Ellis did a good job of keeping his guys engaged, ran some good stuff, got some baskets, and created some hope for those guys. But we just got to do a better job of cleaning up that end of the floor, staying engaged, getting the ball to specific guys, and finishing strong.
Definitely. I mean, the game was kind of out of hand, so a little bit of let up is obviously expected, but you got to make sure you close this to tougher second round opponent. Okay, we'll go to Kevin real quick. So you were in, obviously, Lubbock. Can you speak a little bit about the atmosphere in the stadium?
Lubbock is built for noise. It's a great arena. It's going to be really fun to play in over the next couple of nights. But it's a great atmosphere, and it's something we look forward to playing in. And, we can feed off that energy, whether it's for us or against us. So we're just going to enjoy it.
Definitely. Now, Chris, obviously, the whole thing about being in this tournament is it lets the schools that are – I don't want me to use mid-majors. I think mid-major has this huge negative perception. But I will go ahead and say, like, these guys who basically play in a smaller conference, we'll leave it at that. Even though you guys are going to the American this year, to be playing my Tigers, in fact, in the future. Can you speak a little bit about, like, how pleasant it is that you're still alive while certain – brand name Texas alums have already left the building? Is that somewhat satisfying for the North Texas alums?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I played at a really small school, ACU, who upset Texas in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago, and there's a lot of pride for sure when you do something like that. But at the same time, we expect to win the tournament, and so there's no, time to celebrate too much. We're kind of just on to the next game, but it is a cool experience, and we want to make sure that we're not taking it for granted and enjoying, the fact that we are one of two Texas teams remaining.
Definitely. That's a pretty cool thing. And talk about your next opponent, too. You guys have a very tough matchup within the lab. And I won't lie to you. People who watch the podcast know that I picked HBCU. In fact, people know originally on the podcast, which is taped well in advance of the rosters finalizing, I picked HBCU to beat you guys. No, we talked about it on the show. You guys were guests. No disrespect, obviously. But I saw HBCU in Rucker last year. And with Morrow and those guards, they were tough. But no Jermaine Morrow, no win. I didn't know he's worth 30 points, but it's apparently what he's worth. So first of all, going to Kevin real quick. Actually, let's go to Andre here because you're the head coach. Looking at this balanced lineup, a lot of guys fighting. Actually, that's HBCU. Let's not talk about them. They didn't score enough points. Let's scroll this down real quick. Let's fix that. In the lab, you've got guys who are, you got 12 from Branch, 13 from Howard, 16 from Cameron Young, a G League stud. A lot of different weapons. Is that going to be a harder team to play against when there's no one impact point?
In a way, we know that they have multiple guys that they can go to that can score the basketball in different ways. The one thing about us is we're versatile as well. We're versatile defensively, and we have one of the best defensive-minded coaches in the TBT in Chris Blakely. So he will prepare us defensively and how we want to guard. We're versatile. We can switch. We can mix it up, and we're not afraid to do that. I think our experience overall, from a program standpoint, from University of North Texas, the foundation and the games that we've won, we've been grimy, and that carries over to the TBT. So we'll be well equipped for those guys.
Definitely. So since Chris, you were mentioned, I'll go ahead and ask you a follow-up question to that, since you are, I guess, the defensive coordinator, as we just talked about. 88 total points, but literally 43 off the bench. Almost an exact 50-50 split for bench players versus starters. The minute spreads, no one's below 12, no one's above 23. Does that make playing defense just a little harder with that sort of distribution?
In a way, but, it's like they still have tendencies, and we're still going to be able to exploit some things based on what we've watched, just on an individual basis. They're still unique individuals and unique basketball players, and they have their weaknesses. And that's part of basketball. Once you get to this level of basketball with good quality players, you have to try to exploit weaknesses and take away strengths. And so that's the way we're going to play them. But they do have great balance, and credit to them for putting together a great roster.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I was kind of a little surprised they were this good, but I mean, I shouldn't be. The roster's actually pretty solid. So, Kevin, I don't know. I'm not a big lifestyle guy. I wear clothes from JCPenney's. I have no sense of personal style, which is funny. Some of the designer, you think I would, but I don't. I'm a sucker for a Stafford dress shirt that's $19. But the lifestyle stand in the brand, what do you know about them as a lifestyle brand? Anything? Am I asking the wrong guy? Like, what's your knowledge of In the Lab?
You probably are asking the wrong guy. In the Lab is In the Lab tomorrow. That's about as the extent I got for In the Lab. I know they do have a presence in Southern California, and that's no disrespect their way. I'm just not aware of them.
Anybody else I know one of you was saying it's Devin in the Lab. He's a trainer, I believe. Anybody want to take that? Anybody got
their head coach, Devin. In the lab means being in the gym, putting in the work. He's a trainer, has some high-end clientele, and has built this brand of In the Lab. A lot of California guys, a lot of California ties, Drew League, etc. So it would be some hooping going on, man. But again, Kevin Lacey and his background, University of Miami, just was with the Indiana Pacers. Chris Blakely, University of North Texas, played high-level basketball. Like, I got the best staff in the TBT, and we will be prepared.
I like when a coach says they got the best staff. People who give credit get credit back. I've never understood people who want to claim all their credit. So you give it, it always comes right back at you. It's a very magnanimous way of looking at it. Coach Charlton, with you. Anything that people who haven't watched the TBT yet need to understand about the level of basketball that Bleed Green or the tournament as a whole provides for the entertainment of the public?
Oh, it's an amazing experience. It brings together, you got University, Bleed Green, University of North Texas team, you got Texas Tech, Austin Zone, just the alumni, the fan base. Is basketball in the off season when there's no college basketball, there's no NBA basketball. Just the unity, the camaraderie that surrounds these teams is amazing. And at the end of the day, $1 million going into your bank account, that could change some lives. That can change some lives. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be a fun experience, but with that kind of money on the line, like it can change some things. So it's going to be high level competitive basketball, physical. There's money on the line, so no holds bars.
Money on the table always means a high entertainment value. Guys, head coach Andre Shaw, assistants Chris Blakely and Kevin Lacey of Bleed Green, 3-time TBT winners, looking for a fourth tomorrow. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hair. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.